Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to watch Fight World!
What's up, fight fans, and welcome to Fight World News. Because apparently MMA Update wasn't descriptive enough for our viewers, we went ahead and changed our name for your benefit. You're welcome. First up on the docket, we have Alex Pajeda revealing his next UFC fight in a co-main event of UFC 291. Former two-division Glory kickboxing champion Alex Pajeda made his UFC light heavyweight debut defeating Jan Blachowicz by a split decision after dropping the first round. Wow, what an impressive feat. I'm sure the world was on the edge of their seats wondering if this guy would pull through. The hater was able to edge out the next two rounds on the judges' scorecards to earn a pivotal win and set himself up for a light heavyweight title fight. In the wake of the victory, Pajeda spoke with Sports Illustrated to discuss the next step in his career. Speaking through a translator, the former middleweight champion was quoted as saying, "It was agreed that this was going to be a title elimination fight. The UFC is happy with my performance. The crowd likes my fights. I'm confident that I'll be fighting for the belt by the end of the year." Ah, yes. Apparently the crowd loves snooze fests. With the light heavyweight belt currently sitting vacant thanks to Jamal Hill's horrific injury sustained last month, all signs are pointing to Pajeda and Yuri Prochazka competing for the vacant title later this year. Because when you think exciting fights, you immediately think of Pajeda and Prochazka. When the Czech samurai is ready to return to the octagon, the fight could end up landing on the UFC 296 card in December. Given that the two men seem to be on a collision course with one another, we want to hear from you. Who do you think ends up capturing UFC gold when Yuri Prochazka and Alex Pajeda compete inside the octagon? Drop your predictions in the comments section down below. Moving on, let's talk about UFC fight updates. Although Jack Della Maddalena was eager to compete in Sydney at UFC 293, it seems as though fans down under may not have the chance to see the streaking contender compete on September 10th. According to a Twitter user, BrendaMan2001, who was previously broken news regarding fighters from Australia and New Zealand, the UFC could wind up pulling JDM and rescheduling him for a fight in Vegas later this year. Wow, what a blow to Australian fans who were looking forward to a snooze fest, fight from JDM. When one fan asked whether Walking Buckley was still interested in the fight, the source replied saying that every opponent offered the fight was looking for a bonus to compete in Australia. With the UFC unwilling to meet the demands, it sounds as though hope is fading for JDM to find an opponent in time. Good luck with that, buddy. Next up, we have a report regarding a heavyweight clash between Dante Mays and Rodrigo Nascimento. The fight is set to take place on November 4th, with the event rumored to take place in Sao Paulo. However, the location of the fight has yet to be finalized. The fight will see Nascimento look to build on a recent win streak that has seen him pick up back-to-back split decision victories. Interesting. I can hardly wait to see who falls asleep first in this matchup. Interestingly enough, the fight is a rematch from 2020, where Nascimento picked up a second-round submission win over Mays. Since then, Mays has gone 3-1 inside the octagon, recently TKOing Andre Olowski back in June to return to the win column after a unanimous decision loss to Augusto Sakai in February. Oh boy. Now, we're really in for a treat. Moving on from snooze fests to fights that may actually be interesting, let's talk about Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling's upcoming fight. With less than 2 weeks to go until Sugar Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling stepped into the octagon to fight for the bantamweight gold in Boston, final preparations are underway in the O'Malley camp, with the streaking #1 contender putting an emphasis on dieting as he makes the cut down to a championship weight of 135 pounds. During a recent episode of the Timbo Sugar Show, the #1 contender spoke about the fight, talking about his upcoming week of dieting while theorizing about how his opponent was handling the cut.
It's nice you don't have to worry about cutting 25 pounds.
Yeah, dieting is not fun. I definitely am this week gonna try to lose some weight.
Been craving shit?
Not too bad. Yesterday I was definitely snacky. I feel like when I was kind of bored because I mowed the lawn. I was just sitting at home all day. I was super fucking snacky. So I was more bored. But I've been craving too much shit. My weight's fucking really good right now. I'd love to see what Aljo's weighing. I'm sure he's just gonna be fucking miserable the next couple of weeks.
I'm assuming that his opponent is also not having a good time with his diet, if he's anything like the rest of the viewers watching this matchup. For his part, the Funk Master seems to be making easy work of his cut, after recently posting a photo on social media of some dessert. Because who doesn't love a good dessert before a fight? The champ has continued to post photos looking absolutely shredded after one fan referred to O'Malley's doubts about the champ's weight cut. Aljamain Sterling himself responded, writing, "Big facts. He made his bed, and I'm going to help him lay in it." Oh boy, this matchup could either be a high-speed chase or a slow-motion train wreck. Either way, we're all tuning in to watch the carnage. Moving on to Charles Oliveira, who reveals crazy news after picking up a big win over Benil Darius. Charles Oliveira found himself in position to compete for the lightweight title. Although the hope was that he and Islam Makhachev would have a highly anticipated rematch in Abu Dhabi at UFC 294, Oliveira initially said he would not be ready to fight until November or December. Apparently, he was trying to work a business angle to get the fight on the UFC's rumored Sao Paulo card in November. What changed? According to Oliveira, on a recent episode of the MMA Hour, he stated, "What changed is just that I learned how to play. Now I'm playing. I knew the UFC was planning to maybe have a fight in Brazil in November, so I was trying to push it to November. So I was playing with them. Obviously it didn't work, so now I'm fighting in October." Well, good for you, Oliveira. At least we can count on you to make the fight mildly interesting, unlike the other snooze fests we've been reporting on. Next up, we have Aljamain Sterling going off on Corey Sandhagen. Apparently, Sandhagen has fielded quite a bit of criticism for his grappling-heavy game plan in the main event of UFC Fight Night Nashville. Although he sustained an elbow injury in the first round that will keep him sidelined for 6 months, many members of the MMA community have continued to heap the criticism on the Sandman. During a recent video for his YouTube channel, bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling admitted that while he put some fault on Font for being unable to get back to his feet, he wanted to see more action.
It's one of the things I can't agree with Cejudo when he was watching the tape saying, like, this is not it. And I gotta agree, that wasn't the performance. And again, short notice for both guys, so I'm trying to be fair, trying to be reasonable, but that's just not how you get it done. I really expected a lot more fireworks or a little bit more exchanges, and I definitely expected if Sandhagen were to wrestle, for him to be able to get up after all these years of having to deal with guys looking to take him down, because he has a beautiful jab, a nice 1-2 once he gets that jab going, and he did not get an opportunity to let go of any of those real combinations. So respect to Sandhagen for taking the path of least resistance, but dude, you can't just take guys down and lay on them, because that's what gives us wrestlers a bad name.
Following up a tweet from the night of the fight where he took shots at Sandhagen. For his part, Sandhagen has continued to defend the win while citing the last-minute change of opponents and the series elbow injury sustained in the first round as contributing factors in the lackluster performance.
In Nashville. Hello, Corey. I was very upset on your behalf. I wanted to throw some bows out there. How dare they treat you like that? That's some BS.
It is what it is, man. Some of the fights look like that and some of them don't. And
So can I ask you about the arm? You injured it before the fight, the elbow?
No. So I've been dealing with just like some annoying like arthritis, bursitis stuff going on in there for a little bit. But about 3 or 4 weeks before the fight, I was on like a bunch of antibiotics because I got cellulitis in my elbow, which sucked because the first round of antibiotics didn't help. Like having an infection in your elbow can sometimes like weaken the joint and weaken stuff in there. So I don't recall any specific thing that like was so intense in that first round where it would tear like that. So I think that that's probably what happened. But yeah, that kind of sucked to have happened in the first round. But yeah, really unfortunate because I definitely would have opened up a lot more. I feel like had I didn't have to play it real safe, just knowing that my elbow was kind of jacked.
With Sandhagen likely headed to surgery, only time will tell what the bantamweight title picture looks like when he's ready to return. Finally, we have Kamaru Usman versus Stephen Thompson. Following the cancellation of his bout with Alex Pajeda at UFC 291, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson could be on a collision course with former welterweight kingpin Kamaru Usman. With both men eager to book a fight, and Kamaru Usman coming to terms with the Hamza Chimaev fight not coming to fruition, it seems as though the bout has practically booked itself. During a recent interview with TMZ, the former welterweight champion spoke about his return and why a fight with Wonderboy makes sense.
I've done everything there is to do. The only guys that to be honest, that would even make sense right now, Wonder Boy, because he needs an opponent. Wonder Boy's he's been around so long, and he's just that name to where it's always a great fight,
and people like challenging themselves versus his style.
Absolutely, his style is very, very difficult. Wonder Boy, I would definitely consider that.
In addition, Usman also defended Thompson for not accepting a fight with Mma Pajeda after the fan favorite missed weight.
I know everyone's crucifying him for not taking that fight, but why? I don't understand that. Why? I see that too often. People are like, "Oh, he's a bitch. Oh, he's scared. He didn't want to take the fight." Why? We signed on a contract, and this man said that he was going to make this weight.
It sounds like a fight between Usman and Thompson seems to make the most sense for a number of reasons. With the ball seemingly in the UFC's court, it'll be interesting to see how things shake out. That's it for today's episode of Fight World News. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that like button, because let's be real, that's the only good thing that came out of these news stories.